I'm about to share with you the exact system and the tools that I use to prepare for rehearsal and Sunday mornings to make sure that Sunday is a breeze and everything flows smoothly. I've been using this system now for a while and it has been working out really good. So I'm about to give you a lot of value. So make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. Let's get into it. The song we are doing this week is No Weapon by Todd Dulaney. So the first thing I'm going to do to prepare for rehearsal is all right, so I had to edit out the original part of this video because YouTube said I violated its guidelines because of the method I told you to use when downloading content. I don't even want to really get into that, but essentially what you need to do without going into too many details, what I typically do is I download the song that we are doing each week. And after I download that audio file, I drop it into my DAW. So you will kind of see that in the next slide, me getting the audio file and dropping it into my DAW. I have to actually re-edit this video and re-upload it, but hopefully that makes sense. Keep watching. We now have the MP3 file, so now we can drop it inside of our DAW, right? So check this out. Once we have it into Logic, I'm gonna come back to Google and we need to find out what the BPM is, right? So we could sit through and try to time it and perfectly line it up, but there's an easier way to do that. So check this out. We're going to use our resources that we have and we're going to type in No Weapon Todd Dulaney BPM. This is a hack that I use all the time, and song BPM typically is really good. Another thing you can do is you can go to Loop Community and see what the BPM they have on the website. So it looks like they have the original master for this song, right? So we know the master is going to be the exact file that we have inside of our DAW. So this is saying that the BPM is 63. So what we do is we come in here and we make the BPM 63, right? And now we just got to line it up based on that, right? All right, I'm not going to really play the song because I don't want to get a copyright strike, but we have it lined up, right? So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to right click this audio file inside of Logic, and we're going to split up all of the stems. But the main focus of splitting up these stems is so that we have the vocals and we can follow along in our band rehearsal without the singers. This is really helpful. It helps us to have a more cohesive rehearsal without the singers. So when we come together, we already know the format. We know exactly what we need to do so that we can flow together, right? So we're going to apply this stem splitter and we're just going to break everything up, right? Another tool you can use if you don't have Logic or if you don't want to use Logic and it works the exact same is this app called MODX. So this is another app that you can use to split up your stems. We can isolate those vocals by itself. So now as a band, we can just pay attention to the vocals and take everything else out. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is drag in the loop that I created from one of my loop bundles. And we actually have the song No Weapon by Todd Dulaney. So I'm going to drag this in. So another thing that you'll notice is we actually decided to double time the tempo. So we were at 63. Loop Community said the tempo was 63, but a song like this, I want to double time it. I don't want it to be like, I would much rather it be like this, because the song kind of already has that swing to it. So that's another thing to consider. We'll just drag this loop all the way out. The next tool that I really love to use is called Guide Track. This is really good for just grabbing a quick metronome, or if you just need a cue to start the song, like 1, 2, 3. It's really good for that as well. So we're going to drag in this metronome. That way the drummer can have the click, the metronome, and the vocals, and we can have a successful rehearsal. So check this out. And if you're not that great at making loops, I make loops. I have a bunch of loops on my website. You should definitely go check them out. You can use them in your local church, and I have over 200 loops and a bunch of different loop packs on my website that you can use and add them to what you're already doing at your church. So far, we have grabbed the MP3 from YouTube, put it in a YouTube converter, drop it into Logic Pro or MODX, and use the Logic stem splitter so that we can use the vocals for band rehearsal. We have using a loop, and then we have using guide track by gospel producers. I'll leave their information below as well. So the next step that we're going to do is I'm going to drop my loop now into my Ableton session template. And this is what I will use on Sunday mornings or when the singers actually come in and it's time to rehearse. So this is what my session template looks like in Ableton. As you can see, I have all of the songs that we do each week loaded up inside of Ableton. So now what I'm going to do is drag No Weapon all the way to the bottom. We already have it set up inside of Ableton. I'll just write out, you know, the name of the song, and then I'll write out the key that it's in, because sometimes it's hard for me to remember the key of all of these songs that we do each week. So I really like to keep the key right beside the song title. We have the metronome or the count in right here, and then we have our loop right here. So now the next thing I want to show you is my new drone pad software. This isn't going to be a full review of that. That's coming soon because it hasn't released yet, but this is kind of like an early look of what you can do with it, right? So once we open it up, you see we have the keys on screen. These keys will be MIDI mapped as well. So if you have like a small little 25 key keyboard, you will be able to start these drone pads by just pressing that key on the keyboard. If you don't have that, of course, you can press the key on the screen, but this is what this will look like in context. So if we press play and we want to start the drone pad, we can press the keyboard. And we can keep that going the whole time, right? But those are the tools I'm using weekly at church. We're using Logic Pro, the stem splitter mainly for rehearsal to grab those vocals. And then I'm using Ableton later in rehearsal and on Sunday mornings to run the loops and the metronome and the drone pads. So each week kind of looks different depending on what song we're doing and who's leading, but that's kind of my process. I hope that I was able to teach you something new. Let me know if you learned something new. Let me know if your process kind of looks similar to this. If you want access to any of the products that I use, loops, stems, sound packs, I make all of those things for musicians to use in their local church. So if you want access to that, if you want to check it out, click the link below. I promise you won't be disappointed. But that's all we got for today. Definitely leave a comment and make sure you stick around for the next video that YouTube is recommending next. I believe we are building something that is going to be a part of every keyboard rig in the next 2 to 3 years. I've never used any type of software that is this easy, where you can just press a key and the drone pad will automatically latch and play throughout the entire set.